Okay, guys, let's start the part 2. Yes, we have checked the Korean Exim Bank Act and also the EDCF Act. According to the EDCF Act, Korean Exim Bank is the only one manager and operator of the fund. So, Korean Exim Bank is one of the official workers of the Korean ODA jobs. So in part 2, we will see the details of the EDCF works, how they can help the other developing countries with the hands of the EDCF. And then what colors of EDCF, this fund, and what is the differences between the fund and the grant aid from KOICA. If you understand these things, then you can distinguish the function of the Korean Exim Bank regarding Korean ODA work and between Korean Exim Bank and KOICA, which is the manager of Korean grant aid. All right? So let's start part 2. Okay, from EDCF, this fund to loan. I said that, this fund was made by Korea for helping the developing countries as the part of Korean ODA works. Therefore, the fund, the money should be used for the developing countries. Then you may ask that how can we use this fund? Mainly, this fund can be used for the loan expenditure to the developing countries. What is the loan? This is the payment for the other side and expecting the payback in the future, plus interest. Okay, this is the loan. So we sometimes we use the loan to buy the our house, apartment. Sometimes we use this loan for to buy the car. So loan is very common system for the capitalism in any market. Many commercial banks, they have the loan process for their customers. Okay, from EDCF, this special fund, which is made by Korean government from basically our tax. Yes, so the fund can be a basic background for the special loan for the developing countries. So from the fund, from big fund, EDCF, Korean Exim Bank can extract some money and then they will provide to the developing countries, calling this is special loan for you. And you guys have to pay back in the future. This is special loan for the developing countries. And you may ask me that, this is loan. It's not a help. It's not a assistance. You may say that, but the color of this loan is totally different from normal commercial loan from commercial bank to the market. What is the differences? The payback scheme is very long. The schedule of payback is quite long. And also the interest is very low. Therefore, developing countries always wants to use the loan. Do you remember that several weeks ago we talked about the Korean government the economic agreement in 1970s or 60s to expand railway system in Korea. Korean government, yeah, they make agreement with IBRD in the World Bank groups to borrow money. Yes, it was loan from World Bank. Bank, yeah. So during in this agreement, Korean government and the World Bank group, they made agreement to provide loans to Korean government from World Bank. The purpose of the loan was, yeah, expansion of railway infrastructure in Korea. Yeah, Korean government made these funds to make loans to the developing countries. In that way, based on the Korean experiences. We have experiences several decades ago, and yeah, with that style, Korean government could make economic development. So let's do that based on the Korean model. Let's follow me, Korean style. This is the EDSCF fund, basic ideas for the this fund and the loans. Korean Exim Bank, they will manage the fund and they will operate the loan for the developing countries. So let's see the fund and loan by the Korean Exim Bank. And then we will see the related provisions of the Act. Okay, let's see the loans. Korean Exim Bank, they will do some kind of style, some types of loans from the EDCF by subject, by object, by main target. Yeah, we can distinguish some different types of loans. Development project loans, equipment loans, public-private partnership loans, two-step loans, commodity loans. So commonly they are loans from EDCF, but their target, their subject, yeah, is a bit different each other. First one, for example, development project loan. It is the one of the major loan style from EDCF to improve the infrastructure. The developing country needed the money, the budget, but they do not have enough money normally. So developing country have to ask to the donor country or international organizations to provide the money for them, like Korea several decades ago. And then Korea, for example, they can provide the money for that developing country government to expand the infrastructure. Because Korea did those kind of jobs long time ago, and they made economic development with that project. So please do that. Yeah, we were very successful. So you can do that this way. Construction of road, construction of railways, construction of hospitals, construction of vocational training centers, and construction water supply and electricity supplies, etc. These are infrastructure. We call that these things are infrastructures for the economic development of the country. So, yeah, this is the signature development project of Korea. Yeah, Korea made the legendary story for economic development. So, yes, with the EDCF, you can have a loan from our government. Korean Exim Bank will help you. This is the development project loans from EDCF. Equipment loan is to provide the money to the developing countries for their national development plan. Public-private partnership loan is quite characteristic thing. Yeah, ODA is mainly made by the government with the official money, yeah, officers of public service. They are the ODA work. But these ODA works can be combined with the private sector, such as company. Company has their own specialty, and then they can collaborate together with official development assistance work. Company, their original purpose is the making profit. However, these days company have to do something for their societies. We can call that things as the CSR, the social responsibility of the company, right? So they have to do that for their society. So it is very public purpose. So two public purposes can be combined together. Commonly, two different work can be work together for the societies. If it is for the developing country societies, then it is ODA work and also CSR work. It's good for the societies anyway. So sometimes public area and private area, such as company, they can work together. It is PPP, public-private partnership. In that case, yeah, if this project, PPP project, needed money, then the fund can be used. To conduct PPP project, they can use these loans from EDCF because it is one part of ODA project. Yes, it is. Two-step loans. To make sub-loans to the financial institution for the implementation of the designated policies. The EDCF can be used for the loans. First step, loans. Second step, another loans. Yeah, and then they can make the final destination goals. Yeah? To promote small and medium-sized enterprises in the specified industries, yeah, the two-step loans can be very useful. Small and medium-sized companies or the specialized sector companies, they needed some kind of investment. If they are very successful, they can hire more staff. Then it can be very beneficial for their economy. But the thing is that developing country is very weak in this process. Big company is okay because they have enough money, power, yeah, staff. But small company or startup companies, enterprises, small business, they are very, very risky to take money, investment. Sometimes commercial banks, they don't want to provide, invest the money because they are very small. In that case, yeah, to boost this area, yeah, we can use these loans. And then they can make the sub loans as well. So from the EDCF fund, the Korean government, the Exim Bank can provide the money, loans to the government, developing countries, and then the financial institution in the developing country can make the loans again, their loans from the loans from Korea. That is the two-step loans, from Korea, loans, first loan to developing country. And then, second loan from the financial institution, of developing country, loans from them to their small business or startup business. This is their two-step. And then, if they have many successful cases in their economy, like Korea, then their economic development is very vitalized. Last one, commodity loans to import commodity for the economic stabilizations. Sometimes the developing country have to use these loans. For example, developing country, if the developing country is the unstable situation, for example, natural disasters or economic risky situation, financial crisis may make the very unstable economic situation. And then citizens in the developing country have to struggle to the hungerness, poverty, something like that. So in that case, they have to import the commodities for the citizens. Then they have to use money. But if they do not have enough money, they have to use these loans. Economic stabilization is very, very important for them. So anyhow, if the developing country wants to make their stability in their economy, then sometimes they have to use the loans from donor countries, such as Korea. Okay, so this is the commodity loans. Let's talk about the terms and conditions of the loans. I said that this is a loan from the bank, expecting repayment in a schedule, plus interest. So what is the differences of the loans from normal commercial bank to the normal people? And these special loans. Let's talk about this point. There is a basic rule. They have to classify the developing countries into the several categories. Quite good level of developing countries and very, very poor developing countries. So the Korean government, they categorize these developing countries. Then when they provide their loans, they will expect the interest and the repayment with the different conditions. Poor country, they can have the good conditions, and the quite good level of developing country, they will have the not good condition comparing to the former one. Okay? So with the consideration to the phase of economic development, per capita income levels, and other relevant factors, Korean government and Korean Exim Bank, they will categorize the 5 categories for their conditions. And then they will provide the loans for them. Loan amount, from one loan to the one project is up to the total project cost. So it can be a big money. Interest rate, from very low to the 2.5% per year. think about the interest rate in a commercial bank for normal loans. It's very, very low. So developing country, they will try to take the loans from these things, not from the commercial bank. Repayment period, the schedule, up to 40 years. Yeah, I think do you think I will still alive in the 40 years later? Maybe, I don't know. But anyway, 40 years is quite long time. So if I borrow the money from Korean Exim Bank with these loans, and the condition, if the condition is I have to pay back the original money 40 years later, then it is nearly free money. That's why many developing countries want to receive these loans. And then that's why we can call this loan style is also a part of ODA works. It is assistance. Repayment frequency, sometimes it depends on the negotiation, but twice in a year. So it's not so big burden for the developing country. So yeah, with these conditions, Korean Exim Bank provide the loans to the developing countries project. Okay. Right. EDCF Act Article 7 provide the use of the fund. Yeah. With these things, extending loans or equity investment, extending loans, yeah, to conduct the investigation of the cooperation project and for the importation from Korea to partners of the community, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, the fund can be used for the loans, and the loan can be used for the developing country. What for? Yes, if the developing country have the project is for their self-development. And then, Korean government, they can extend the loans. And then, they have the many standards for the use of the fund. And then the government of developing country and the Korean Exim Bank also have to follow the standard. And then the Korean Exim Bank have to check the expenditures of these fund, the money, and then if they out of the standard, then the Korean Exim Bank make the yellow card to their bank. Yeah, this system is quite clear, and then Korean Exim Bank sometimes have to make the advice to the developing countries to follow the rules. Okay. Let's see the loan procedure in the bank. Korean Exim Bank have the very, very, very detailed procedure to make clear, to make justifiable procedure to provide loans for the developing country. Let's talk about the competition of the loan. Many developing countries want to have their loans from these funds, right? Because the condition is very good. So it is very competitive. Many countries want to take their loans, but the fund is limited. So Korean Exim Bank have to take their procedure from research and hearings and the decisions and providing the money and then monitoring, evaluation, something like that. So we have several procedures regarding the loans, and then let's talk about these issues. Okay, let's see the basic things, yeah, from dialogue, like that. Do you need some kind of loans for your economic development? Yes, of course, we have to have the loans for our expansion of the railway system. Okay, good. Yeah, then the Korean government can provide some kind of loans from EDCF. The fund is quite good because the condition is very beneficial for your project. Really? Yes. Just prepare some kind of papers, and then we will think your project. Okay, we can do that, and then developing countries will prepare their project, and then they will show the preparation and the papers, report, something like that, and then Korean Exim Bank will check these things. Okay, based on our experience, these maybe you may need some kind of amount of dollars, something like that. Then you can spend some kind of money for that things, and then it takes about 10 years, something like that. And then, yeah, they officially proposed to the Korean Exim Bank. Can you? And then Korean Exim Bank, okay, we can. Let's talk about the conditions and your obligations, and then negotiation. Then loan agreement. Loan agreement means, yeah, Korean side, Korean Exim Bank must provide the money to developing countries, and then government of developing country have to follow the requirement of the loans. Okay, then let's start. Korean Exim Bank will provide the money to the government of developing countries. That is project implementation, start of the project. The developing country, they will use the money for that project. And then Korean Exim Bank will check step by step. Yeah? Checking that, you said that this project should be this step should be 1 year, and then you use this money for 1 year. Okay, then let's go to the further step 2, something like that. And then if the project is over, of course, during the project, yeah, Korean Exim Bank can evaluate the project. And then, is it beneficial for your economy? Is it good for your citizens? Is it good for international communities? Is it good model? Is it effective? Can we use this case for other developing countries? Can you have a good lessons from this project? Evaluation. So, yes, the loan can be used for these steps for that project. So we have checked it's just an overview of the procedure. All right, let's see the details of the procedure. From the policy dialogue, project can be investigated, and is good things or not, something like that, yeah? And then, if yes, then developing countries and the Korean Exim Bank can make some detailed plan. And then they can officially ask to the Korean government, Exim Bank, please provide us the money. Loan request situation, and then appraisal. Request for the appraisal, report decision of the loans. This step is done by Korean Exim Bank, the Korean side, for providing the money. If yes, if Korean government or Korean Exim Bank said that it is good for their economy, the developing country's economy or their citizens, then good. Yes, let's provide the loans to the developing country. This is the appraisal step. Then the developing countries government and the Korean Exim Bank or Korean government, they can make the talk, negotiation, something like that, and then agreement, loan agreement. Yeah, okay, let's make the promise. Korean side will provide the money to you until that time, and you have to do something your project for using that money until that time. That is the agreement. And then, if the Korean Exim Bank provide the money, it is the starting point of the project implementation. Employment, biddings, investment, procurement, those kind of sub-procedure can be done by the Korean Exim Bank or developing country's government. And then, lastly, evaluation. Evaluation can be done by the Korean Exim Bank and other specialists for the evaluation to make lesson, yeah, to improve further cases in the future. Okay. Let's see the details on the drawings. From the preparation, appraisal, loan agreement, and then project implementation, and then evaluation. Korean government to the Korean Exim Bank, the borrower, that is the developing countries government, yeah, and then they have different work in each steps. Policy dialogue step, the first step of this process, yeah, they have to talk. For example, developing country wants to do something, and then Korean government, in that case, based on our experience, we have to do something like that. Yeah, you have to make the expert. And then you have to make some kind of buildings, something like that. Oh, in that case, we need money. Money? Okay, we have the EDCF fund, very special fund for this purpose. You can use this one. Really? This discussion, yeah, and the investigation for the further step to be made in the policy dialogue process. And then proliferation. That should be a bit more official stance from the borrower, from developing countries. The developing country, the government, they investigate something more detailed and calculation, and then they will provide they will make the actual plan, the official proposal. Yeah, and then they asked their Korean government to make loans. Yeah. During that times, some kind of contributor can provide some kind of service to to help the borrower, the developing countries. Yeah. And then the Korean government will check the proposal. And then the government will ask to the Korean Exim Bank, can you provide the loans to that project? And then the Korean Exim Bank, they will check this project again, and then they will make the analysis and make the report to the Korean government. Okay. It is possible. This is possible job. We can provide the loan. Then, yeah, the Korean government and the borrower, developing country can make the negotiations. Yes. Then notification to be to the borrower, good, we can provide the money. And then the borrower, the developing countries and Korean government, they make the agreement, loan agreement. Yeah. Who is the operator? Yes, Korean Exim Bank. So Korean Exim Bank will make the loan agreement with the certain governmental branch in the developing country, the borrower. They can make the loan agreement. Then, and then the further step. Project implementation, this step, they have to do many things. Firstly, they have to launch the project, and then they have to make some kind of committee, and then sometimes they have to hire some people, and then some kind of the bidding, and then there must be some kind of competition. The developing country, they have to take some kind of governmental procurement step as well, and using the money from EDCF. This is the real step of the project. After the step with many jobs, long time project. Then during the time, the Korean Exim Bank will check the sub step of the government of the developing countries, and then they can make some kind of advice to the developing countries. You're right, but this point must be done as soon as possible, something like that. And then lastly, in that stage, the Korean Exim Bank will evaluate the whole project. Is it good for the developing countries or not? Or is it beneficial for the citizens? Or is it very effective or not? And can we make some kind of lessons from these project? Can we use this model for the other cases from other countries? Like that. And then they make them some kind of report. This is the whole details of the process of EDCF fund use. Yes, appraisal step. It's too many. It's very careful examination of the possibility of the work, and then they may make them plan. EDCF loans can be useful or not. Possibility can be checked by the government of developing countries and also in the Korean Exim Bank. During the time, they will check the economic conditions and the eligibility of the EDCF loans and the conditions and terms, and the priority and the legal issues, or other related things. Then, public procurement process to be a very useful thing. Developing country, the government, they have the fund, the money, and then they are doing the project which they planned before. Then they need some kind of cars, buildings, and computers, or the internet system, something like that. Then the developing country government will buy these facilities or buildings, something like that. We can call this step as public procurement. Buying something for the government. during the project implementation, yeah, the steps, they will do various types of procurement, buying something, yeah. In these steps, yeah, the money, the loans, must be used very carefully and very transparently, yeah, keeping the standard of the guidelines of the procurement of EDCF, because can be very easy to be corrupted by the officers in the developing country, in the experiences, to the pocket money. Yeah. So the Korean Exim Bank, yeah, or international organizations, they made the guidelines, yeah, and or manuals to do more clear public procurement system. So after the loan agreement, the procedure of the project implementation, in that step, the EDCF fund be used for the loans money to be used for buying something for the developing countries. So for that step, they have several guidelines, yeah, by the government, by the Exim Bank, by the international organizations. Based on this standard, yeah, the Exim Bank and the government will make the negotiation and they make the agreement. Procure goods and services from eligible source countries agreed on between Korean government and the recipient government, developing country. Method, competitive bidding, limited competitive bidding, shopping, and direct contracting. Many methods. Korean Exim Bank sometimes make the advice to them to follow developing countries, to follow the standard. And then sometimes they need more money, they can provide the, in a very exceptional circumstances, if they need more money, then yeah, Exim Bank can provide more loans, okay? Evaluation is the last stage to check the result of the project, for making lessons from the result. There must be a principle: impartiality, independence, creditability, usefulness, and partnership. Many dimensions can be evaluated for one project. Why do they make these things? To improve future policy, future programs, future projects, making feedback of lessons from the research. Okay? Right. This is the end of part 2 of today's lecture. Yeah? And then also, yeah, the end of this semester. Okay, guys, you studied many things from the ODA and law class. Yeah, you may say that in the first stage it was very fresh thing. It is not so common class in the universities, but I believe that it's very useful things for you to understand ODA project. Law is important for ODA work, even if this is very pure work for the developing countries and the human beings in the international community. But law is very important. Okay, guys, you have done many things, and thank you very much for your studying. Goodbye.